wasn't our policy that we passed when
Okay, sure.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Agenda approved.
I'd like, Brandy, I just, after you brought that up, Kevin, I'm thinking in our budget minutes, we need to note that we couldn't get our YouTube channel working. So could we add, maybe like, I don't know how to exactly phrase it, but say, due to technological issues, the YouTube streaming was unavailable.
That's fast, must've been speeding.
I was already on my way, so.
We have motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved. Okay, before we get to communications, Sherry, you want to come up to the hot seat?
Sure, I will give you a second here.
So-
Go ahead.
So my understanding is that we were only to notch the windows out for just a couple windows because of the pipe issue. Now Sherry says we're supposed to be moving a pipe, or she was told we're supposed to be moving a pipe to do it. I knew nothing about that. Now we don't know who's supposed to be moving the pipe. But the pipe is gonna be-
I sent Dylan there to tell us what to do with it. You seemed to think it was gonna be handled. I don't know.
Why would, if we have to move a window, wouldn't that be part of the project? Is that Dylan's,
Moving a window?
moving the pipes?
Oh. Would it be part of the project?
Right.
Yeah.
So who's on first and who's on second is what we gotta figure out. Are we gonna move the pipe or not move the pipe or just put the ceiling back the way it was?
We probably can't decide today. It's not on the agenda,
No,
but we can discuss it.
we can discuss it, so we don't know what we're gonna be at. So we can decide on, if we have a meeting Tuesday or Wednesday. So we can get moving.
Did Dylan get a cost estimate of what it would be to move that? I thought we were gonna, is that the pictures that
That
you're
was-
writing?
Which office? Is it the
The passport. my
passport office?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of your dome.
No, we're gonna do that one. That was done.
Oh, okay, well, what
The
am
main
I?
office is done.
So
I'm
like,
talking
like
about
in
my
front of the
passport
window,
office.
there's part of the fire suppression
Pictures
system.
that she sent us, we didn't get those pictures.
There's a pipe in the.
I sent you a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
You didn't get them?
No.
Okay, what I'm here for is I'll put it in a nutshell. My passport office, and please come over when you're done with this board meeting, please come over. The only reason Chris has seen the message because he was in the courthouse this morning. So you four, please come over. That picture doesn't do anything.
But if you look, that's,
That is called the switch. Can you
Yeah.
zoom in on that? I have new ceiling tiles, old ceiling tiles, metal, scaffolding in my passport office. We can only use 1/4 of the counter in there. Broken tiles. It is a mess.
that expensive equipment is covered in dust and debris,
Yes.
totally unacceptable. I was over there and I was just appalled by it.
I can't, yeah, this picture doesn't do anything for it. So let's back up. So passport office has been, the tile's been out for 4 months. That doesn't bother me. This mess is going on for 3 weeks now. So I was told 2 weeks ago, I was told 3.5 months ago, the water line was gonna be moved and the ceiling tiles would be put up. Then Mike from Tricon said 2 weeks ago, the water line would be moved. The what do you call it, subcontractor would come in and put the tiles up. Okay, snow came. So I asked Dylan, he says, no, Sherry, I gotta move snow. No problem. He said the week after that, ice came. I said, no problem. I said, are you gonna move the water line today? And he said, tomorrow. Tomorrow came and he says, I'm not moving that water line. I said, where are we at with it? I don't know. Talk to the board. Here I am.
So understand, I thought we were just putting it back with everything the way it was, except for,
Yeah, the domes, yeah.
yeah, well, we can. There's a dome on that one per se, but there's,
But it's not
Probably more.
forward facing, so, front facing, so I'm not as worried about that one.
right, so we should just put the ceiling back.
I'd
Would
say
would that
so.
be acceptable, Sherry, put the ceiling back?
Yeah, I mean, at Michelle's, you went up, my main office is huge, and you went this way and up. I don't know if you guys have been over there.
Yeah.
But Michelle had, I'll call it a heat pipe, I don't think it was, and you went a little angle. But this one, maybe you could do a little angle, but you guys definitely need to come over and make a decision. I want my passport office cleaned up. It is a storage room in there. Plastic thrown on the floor. And yeah, I can pick it up, but I can't move scaffolding, I can't move ceiling tiles and boxes. I want it out of there. So please make a decision today, because I'm gonna put it in the hallway.
Well,
Well, we
technically,
can't decide.
technically, we can't make a decision today. We'll come over with a meeting in the middle of the week and then we get stuff in there. But what we don't have to make a decision to get it cleaned.
What I think we need to do is not make a decision as a board and let the buildings and grounds committee decide what to do with it. That's their job.
I'm okay with that, I guess.
So Ellen and I will be over after the meeting.
Promise?
You guys handle it and
And then you're gonna say to me, yes, we're gonna move the wire line, or no, we're not, or you can't make that decision.
No, like,
they have the
make a
authority to
decision.
make all those decisions, yeah.
They can get it cleaned up.
Take a
So,
look at it.
and then it'll be fixed, it won't be fixed, but it will be, the decision will be made today.
Yes, those two that's why we have that committee. Just like you and I do all the personnel stuff.
All right, what time is your meeting over? What's your last appointment, do you know?
10:45, but it could be, last week it was 2:30.
I'll be there all day, so it doesn't matter. Come on over.
We'll be over.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, communications.
Do you wanna do the other, open forum before we get into that
You're
class?
here for open forum?
I think that's what.
Yeah, I think you are, yeah.
I'm up here.
Yeah.
Mine is a simple complaint. Actually, I have two small ones. When we had this last snow,
You need to identify yourself and where you're from.
my name is Stephen Davis, and I'm from North English, Iowa.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Steve. We had this last snow, and a year ago, I filed a complaint with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources and Sherry Lutz about my neighbor has a junkyard. His name is Dave Wilhite, and they tip over vehicles and the oils and everything run underground, and they were doing refrigerators and draining the Freon and everything, and they made him stop that, draining all that stuff on the ground. Well, this last snowstorm, I thought it was Dave Wilhite, but it wasn't. I took the pictures. Nick has the pictures. The county came down and with the front end loader up the county road. And I thought it was Dave Wilhite in revenge for me calling the DNR and everything. They brought a whole huge bucket load of snow in on a private road that I own, and dumped it in my driveway so I couldn't get out. Last Sunday, watching football, I was watching football with one of the Iowa County road guys that work on the road commission. And he explained to me it was not Dave Wilhite that dumped the load, it was his son Clayton that works for the county also. I just think that's really strange, that they would bring a whole bucket load full of snow in on a private road and dump so I can't get out. And I just wanted to make you aware of that. And the next thing is, in the summer, when the county digs out the ditches, they're hauling all that dirt into Dave Wilhite's property there. And he's covering up all the oils and everything that he's dumping on the ground. And I would like that stopped, because his property sits a little bit higher than mine. And everything he's doing in there turns around. We have a creek that runs through our property, and everything he's doing is running right through the creek and coming right down through my property. Now, I took and had the dirt tested at Iowa State University through the head agricultural department. And that ditch dirt has so many chemicals in from years and years and years in Iowa. The way it was explained to me, they didn't mow the ditches or nothing. They just sprayed the chemicals. You would see the signs on the side that says no spray, where people would put up when they didn't want spray in their yard or ditches or stuff. And But all that dirt that they're digging out of these ditches, he's hauling in there to improve his property. I don't know if you call it improving it, but it's on a big hill. He's making it bigger and covering up all the oils and everything he's pouring on the ground. And I just want it stopped. Well, the county's hauling all the dirt in there. I don't, is the county paying him?
Well, I think Nick could explain, but I think what the county does is if somebody can use it in the area, it saves us money from having to haul it somewhere else, right? So normally when they do those, and Nick could explain it, if somebody from that area wants that dirt where that's getting dug out of the ditch, they deliver it.
That's fine. I agree. I just don't want it where it's run down through my property. And again, he has the pictures. He can explain to me it was an accident. It's not an accident. This load of snow, I mean, if you look at the pictures, it's pretty funny. Then he ran in on a private road, length of a football field and dumped.
Could you text me that picture and I can throw it up there?
Yeah.
Nick, what do you have to say? Are we, number one, are we putting dirt on Will Heights property?
Yeah, I don't know if Will Heights getting the dirt or not. I mean, I know that we did a lot of ditching in that area last year. As he said, whoever. is
I get
close
some.
Takes it.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
And two, he said it was Dave. I called around, found out it wasn't Dave. It was Clayton. And Clayton said, no, I didn't do that, not on purpose anyway. I'm sorry if it did. Which is the fact that it's down on private property is because that road goes so far. We can stop, but during that
530.
blizzard, I believe that our guys take the gentleman approach and go a little bit further.
2952.
Out 295, go there, 100 yards
2952.
out of there.
And those are private, that's a private road that they're.
Well, it's
Going the extra.
public, yeah, it's public, the first 100 or 200 yards. But then there's,
So that dirt road's been condemned down to the river,
it's been vacated at some point, yeah. But then I think our guys just go a little bit further and then they can turn around.
Steve had come to me and I said, I just come to the meeting because I don't.
So did you clean it up personally then?
I had to, yeah.
And I can tell our guys to not go that little extra mile and not go down just stop, push it right there and stop at the end of the road.
That'd be a good recommendation to do, so we wouldn't have to worry about it again.
Well, I think they're doing it so that people can get out and so.
Right, but if it's gonna cause controversy.
I don't
It's
care
also-
that they come down and turn around.
Just so it don't happen again.
And that's what they were
That they
doing,
just
and that's
don't-
why it
don't load
happened
of stuff.
probably.
So that's why I think the resolve.
You're gonna have a hard time with that grader, I would suppose, getting that grader down there and then just stopping without kind of having a little push through.
Right there it is.
Whatever.
Now, that's an accident. He didn't know that he dumped that in my driveway. I plow that road right there. The county never plows that road all the way out to the corner. I plow probably a quarter mile of the county road and the grader operator thanks me continuously for doing that because there's a really high radius out there at the end. As far as you can see in that picture, I own. He brought that dirt snow all the way in and left it right there. And don't tell me that's a full bucket load of snow that he did not know that he dumped that in my driveway. That's sad that you would even say that.
And you feel this is retribution for your, dilemma that you had?
I just want it stopped.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I don't want Clayton to get in trouble. I don't want Dave to get in trouble. I want it stopped. It's all based on me turning them in to the DNR. The DNR made them quit accepting appliances and took samples. We haven't heard back yet from the samples. It's all in retribution or whatever you call that word, because I turned them into the DNR and Sherry Lutz, which is they made him then clean up the vehicles. There used to be in his junkyard 100 and some odd vehicles, and he's had to clean all of them up. And they're just upset because I turned them in. trying to save a little bit of the earth for my grandkids.
So the resolution you want is not, for not to happen again.
Stop it, yeah,
So it's not gonna happen again. If it does,
I'll be back.
you bet.
Just call us, don't wait for the meeting.
Well, he
What did he
came
do?
in to me
Yeah, talk to her.
at the
Talk
store
to her.
yesterday and I said, well, why don't you just come in and
Okay.
take care of it? Cause I,
That's all. I don't want anybody to get in trouble, just for it to stop. And police put all that ditch dirt in there. That when it rains, it runs right down through my property. Like I said, I had that dirt tested at Iowa State University. And it's so full of chemicals from the years and years and years in Iowa that they sprayed the ditches. Actually, the extension in Iowa State told me it would take over 50 years for that dirt to filter clean and get all the chemicals out of it.
There hasn't been really years and years and years of spraying ditches.
What's that?
There really hasn't been years and years of spraying ditches.
I see them all the time, these farmers, and they're still doing it. They
Oh, the
spray
farmer
it.
name, I thought you were accusing us.
Oh, no, where they're spraying the ditches, but I'm saying, they just sprayed 305th Street last year. It had trees that were 20 feet high. They sprayed it one day and the next day, everything was dead. That's not good. Again, I'm just trying to save a little bit of the environment for my grandkids.
Okay.
And I don't want anybody to get in trouble, just for it to stop.
We'll make sure it gets
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Do you want to do Nick, we'll come back to communications.
sure, it's fine.
Good morning. Here is the resolution.
We can have that. What's this one?
Yeah, the guys there, they go a little bit extra further to help out those two people. I know that him and the Wilhites have been blocked a little bit, but Clayton was still going down there to help. Clayton was genuinely surprised, and I said, you know, get in trouble. Yeah, they pushing back snow on the gravels, and we went out 2 mornings because of the ice. And then they were moving equipment, and then today is mostly cleanup. If you go into the shops, they're a muddy mess right now, so.
So that we're all on the same page. I'm gonna call in and say my road is terrible, and your answer is gonna be,
Terrible as far as mud or,
there's nothing we can do about mud now. We'll destroy even more, we'll take a dump truck out there, won't we?
yeah, right now it's not really a great time.
Just so everybody's kind of on the same page of what your response will be and what your plan is,
Yeah.
because they're gonna fall apart.
So right now, we're still kind of with the gravels, concerned about pushing the snow back. The more we can push back, the drier the road will be. But yeah, everything right now is gonna be a little muddy until we get the dump trucks out there. So,
When would you take the dump trucks out?
not right now.
I mean, like, it's gotta dry up.
Yeah. Yep.
It might not be till April at this rate, we never know.
Correct. Yeah, one thing kind of hope for, which didn't really happen this last go around, is where it gets above 32 during the day, but then kind of freezes back at night and kind of slows down the whole process. But we stay above 32 and add rain. And then all that snow that is piled alongside the road, we didn't have time to push it back further. So all that's still going down onto the road. So,
Some of the places you couldn't push it back anymore anyway.
right. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to bear with it for the next couple of weeks.
Part of living in rural Iowa. Every county in the state's got the same issue.
I shared your pamphlet with Jones County yesterday. They were so impressed. I want to give you credit for that pamphlet you gave us, at the start of the year. Your one that you made for
Your
us,
report?
your report.
Oh,
They're so impressed.
they were impressed?
Yeah. So just wanted to give you kudos for that.
Thank you.
These are probably better.
I didn't know that.
Okay, just want to make sure. Communications.
Yesterday, had a new, I can't have it, of course, new youth crisis liaison from Johnson County. So Randy, she's gonna be calling you sometime to set up an appointment to come in. Her name's Nia something.
She's coming in next week.
Next week, she already contacted, well, that's fast. But anyway, so, yes, she
I
was
couldn't
on,
understand when she kept saying her first name. I didn't get it.
I got Nia, I couldn't get her last name though, so.
Goodman, I think.
Okay, so she's gonna come in, I said, come in, introduce yourself to us, we'd like to hear from you at least, we know what's going on. So she's coming in, then we went yesterday to the EasyCon meeting up in Cedar Rapids to see their new renovated offices. I wasn't overly impressed, were you coming?
No.
The money they spent on it. So
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to look like much.
Tracy's coming today, so I won't, she'll tell you what we talked about yesterday, so in the housing part of it, so. And I also have been doing a little research on some different things. I've been trying to call some counties that are the same size as us. Yesterday I talked to Clay County and just trying to see how their budget's fitting and everything, see how their money's compared to our monies. So I'm just doing a little snooping that way and, comparing what we have compared to what they have, like talking about ambulance, public health, things like that. Jones County told me yesterday they just passed the EMS levy for their county.
Jones County did. They put it
Ours
to a
will touch
vote.
our budget though.
No, but I don't think it's a supplement to the budget.
Yeah,
So it's not really, taking the whole ambulance over, it's just supplementing the ambulance.
but can you do that? I thought the understanding was you couldn't then use general fund on it.
So you might want to call Jones County and see what they've done.
Yeah, I think they still have their general fund budget, and then they have this,
Supplements it.
this supplements, yeah.
So you might, if you're interested in looking into it, might want to give them a call, so.
Yeah, I'll just look at the code, yeah. I haven't really looked at that too much yet.
So yeah, I think that's about it for me. What is our total, what's our total dollar budget here? What's our
26 million.
26, okay, that's what I thought, that's close.
Then Iowa County Board of Health meeting. I'll start with Sherry Lux. Her agenda or her information pretty standard. Her budget was as presented to us in our budget packet, so that was fine. As far as the health department, they still cannot hire a full-time RN, and supposedly that's limiting our census right now, which is kind of limiting the revenue. What also is limiting the revenue is that they did get rid of the billing company, which was good because we shouldn't be paying a billing company when we have a full-time financial assistant in there. But we're still like 6 months behind on billing, so I'm hoping that it's caught up by our March meeting. And I did, so we went through the public health budget line by line, and I found areas to cut, and overall we cut 9,000. I did call for discussion after the motion was made for approving the budget to discuss the idea of getting rid of home health. And because we're behind on billing right now, I'm willing to give them more time to prove that we can recoup enough funds to afford the salaries that it takes to provide this service. So I did vote for their budget with that caveat of, I want to have a committee, or I want to be a part of a committee that's looking at the finances 6 months down the road to see what are we actually generating in income, and is it covering the salaries that it takes to perform these services? And so, like, I know Kevin, you and I talked about, like, are there people out there that would get left behind? Their concerns are North English. They're having a hard time finding a company that wants to provides home health services there. That might take some outreach to some of these companies, and I did talk to somebody, one of them, and that's something that they'd be willing to entertain. So it might be something that if we do lock off home health, it's gonna take some work on my behalf or the, public health department's behalf to try to coordinate people to provide services that they're not. The sliding scale fee thing for the people that qualify for that on income, it sounds like we have like 12 to 15 that are using that right now. But the issue, I guess the truth is, even if you're paying sliding scale, if you don't pay it, apparently we have a lot of refusals because people don't want to pay even like $6 for a service. So a lot of people are not even like having these services. So in my opinion, or my understanding, I feel like it's kind of a moot point because the sliding scale people, there's very few of them, number one, and number two, if they don't want to pay anything at all, we're not even going to provide them the services. They don't pay, we don't provide. And that's the same way these other companies, these for-profit companies would be doing the same thing. So they are going with some grant opportunities there to provide flu and COVID shots again, which is a good thing. We were not billing our county insurance for the shots that we provide. Approximately 50%, it's like 44 out of 90 some shots, flu shots that we give every year, are county employees, and we haven't been billing the health insurance. And I encourage the public health department to bill our health insurance because it does not affect our rates because it's considered a preventative care. And as you guys saw when Rick was in here giving that presentation, that's one of those things that comes off the claim volume when they redo our insurance. So that would give us, I forget, this is a significant amount of money, to cover the expense of doing those shots. There's a lot of other details I could share, but in the interest of time, I probably won't, but if anyone has questions or wants to talk to me afterwards about details, I would be happy to share them.
So you haven't, the health department done that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before you go on, you can take a break, so.
I'm good, actually.
Oh, that's at the end of everything?
I think so, because ECI got canceled or whatever.
Okay, this is what keeps Becky on track.
Does that mean you're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Becky.
Hello.
Morning, Becky.
Good morning. So, apologize for sending my notification out without the attachment, first of all, but I did correct that. Thanks for letting me know. One of the things that I thought maybe you guys would be interested in is I brought one of the tablets with me. I actually drove a bus up here today. So this is what the tablet looks like that we have, and it's mounted in the bus in a fashion like right now kind of wonky, but I have extensions ordered to get them more up and upright. So they don't take a lot of the drivers, they're not leaving their eyes from the road much. So, but yeah, it's a good size.
Pass it around.
Sure. Let me get back to,
Something that we can't mess up.
yeah. It's fine, right there. It says you can send a message, and we can communicate with the drivers with that, but we still have the radios, so I've been,
Mounting thing that sticks in.
the base of it, there at the bottom, as John has it, and then the top, it clicks in. So while you're driving, it's charging. So it does that.
You're freezing over there?
It's freezing in here.
It's
Sorry.
72.
The other day, you were
Alright.
sweating.
Feels
Yes,
good.
right, it's too damn hot, now it's too cold.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But,
I went to notes.
so yeah, it just, yeah, it's got so many options of different things that you can do.
Then this has like a mapping GPS too?
Yes, let me just, I'm not the most familiar with this thing, so
I know the assessor meeting, it was
I don't
like
wanna do that.
85 in there.
Oh, it was horrible. I thought I was gonna pass out, but I was got global.
It was
Send a
awesome.
message, I don't know why it's telling me to send a message.
Really did stay good there.
Yeah, so this has all the apps on it, this is the only app that we
Like a big
use.
park town.
And I told the guys that we're gonna, I don't know, that's what I wanna do. So basically, when I go back to pick this lady up, I'll just poke arrive pickup,
Mhm.
and then it'll tell me that, it'll verify the mileage. And then it'll say actual pickup or a no-show or a cancel.
Oh, cool.
So you have several options. But yeah, really easy to operate. All the drivers are doing really well with it. The office is doing very well, but that's not because of me. That's because Stacy has really taken hold of this and she knows the ins and outs on it. I'm still learning, but I will get there. So, but yeah, it's pretty slick. We'll see how it works when I do the billing next month or February 1st.
That's gonna make it easier for you, isn't
I
it?
hope so, yes.
I use software in my business and everything is just so much easier, technology, so much easier.
But it used to be if someone called in and canceled, you had to go, or they wanted to change their drop-off location, you had to cancel their original trip, then you had to put in a new trip. Well, now you just go and edit the
Yeah,
one trip. It's just-
Exactly, that's so nice.
It's like 2 clicks and you're done, so. There are so many more options with this software that we're not utilizing yet, but little steps. We'll get there. I mean,
This is neat.
Mhm.
It's really a good
Yeah.
function.
yep, it was a big bite, but I'm glad that we did it. It's working really well. And all the drivers have been, yep, we got it, don't worry about it. So you saw my information on the employee update,
Yeah,
everybody, Brandy's gonna have it on the agenda for next week.
okay.
I don't need to be here for that, do I, or do I?
I don't know why you would.
Okay, you'll just let me know that we're good to go.
Is that correct, Kevin?
Right.
Okay, then I will proceed with drug testing and driver's license check and background check and all that.
Perfect. Excellent. It'll be a really good hire. Okay.
Anything else? Any questions for me?
And how'd the whole blizzard situation go?
We were shut down for 3 days. So we missed, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, I think, that first week, and then again on Monday.
This doesn't get around really great snow.
No.
Did you put yours on KCRG or anything too?
No,
I don't
not
think-
really.
I don't think so. I saw Jets and other ones on there, but I didn't see ours.
Yeah, and they cancel like the day ahead, and I don't even know what's coming. We generally follow the schools, but REA is a very specific situation to where if we don't get them, if we try to delay their start time, then they don't get enough hours to count in a day. So REA basically is they go or they don't go. And if the schools,
Should I like coffee anyways.
You like hard copy?
yeah, I do too.
As you buy my binders, but
You know, it's the same one I always said where I list out all this, I just add to it as we award stuff. So, your representatives from Iowa County on the Housing Trust Fund Board are Chris and Laura Sasser from, I'm sure you know, from Iowa County Community Development. So the Housing Trust Fund is a 501c3. It's not actually a committee of VCCOG. It has to be a separate 501c3 as the state requires us to do. And we make funding available. Well, we have an open window process. So organizations or entities can apply to us, but then we also use funds and combine it with other funds to help homeowners with repairs and stuff. So I give you the totals of what it is that we've done specifically in Iowa County is what's in the table on your sheet. However, just in the last year, so this is from November 30th of last year, I think, until November 30th of 2022 to November 30th of 2023 when I prepared this. I gotta get to the right page. In Iowa County, we had assisted an additional 4 households, totaling an amount of $66,654.
or $58, sorry. Part of that is additional amount we awarded to Marengo Senior Housing. We had given them some funding to renovate a couple of their apartments. And then they realized they needed more money, so the board approved to give them more money. So the dollar amount is a little bit inflated for 4 households, but that's why, because I'd already counted the households in the previous year, so I'm not double counting them, so. But anyway, so the 4 households that I do have represented, 1 received emergency repair, 1 received some funding from.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Melanie Kemp, I'm the city clerk for City of Richmond, representing the mayor today.
You just work for Eldora too?
No.
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 John, you have this updated on your computer.
Do you need me to throw something on the TV?
What's that?
Do you want me to throw something on the
She
TV?
can put it up on the screen.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I, for some reason, don't have my own copy that I send everyone else.
Oh, I can throw it up there. And I sent out, they all have it, so I took what you put in there
Right.
and I put it in this spreadsheet that we got this morning. And I just analyzed some numbers just for information purpose, you know?
If you sent me something this morning, it's been a busy morning. I
Okay.
haven't even turned on my email, so.
Okay. I can connect to the TV here. Cause you, is that the one that you sent to all of us, right?
Yeah. Just using the same formula basically as in the past.
I think that's the same one. That's some,
Hey, John, can I turn down that light? Easier to see everything.
That's what you sent out this morning?
That's what he said. But
I
you
sent
guys-
you sent that the other day.
Okay, Wednesday, maybe?
She redid the spreadsheet.
Before we start, I know Melanie, you said you had questions. I don't know if you want.
I'll let him talk, and then if he doesn't discuss it at all, payment, that's okay.
So Rob had sent us what one deputy costs essentially.
Right.
And both cities are going to be equivalent of 1 deputy. So this is what you're suggesting for a contract price?
That's doing the best we can without supplementing the cities with rural taxpayer money,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
essentially. There's no way we'll ever achieve that because there was nothing on there for the administrative side. And I don't mean, when I say administrative, I don't just mean me, I just mean all the things that go into running an office, copy machines and paper and tickets. And I mean, just all the things that are auxiliary to that person working, those things are not included. So it's just that standalone deputy and the car that they drive and the equipment that goes in them. We stopped some time ago charging for uniforms and the uniform cleaning. We don't really clean uniforms, but there is upkeep. They go to the seamstress quite a bit, you know, they start to wear out and get patches put on and things like that. We're not dealing with that. The tires, probably not a very good equivalent. It's just basically very difficult to get one set of tires for that price. And we usually have to swap them out right before winter for winter tires. So that's not on there. The radio equipment, because it's now county-wide, that's not on there. And the training, you know, there's no way to put a number on training. It depends where they are in their career and how new they are, is how much training they've already had.
I'm using, when we talk about the cost of a deputy, I'm talking about the least expensive deputy in terms of they aren't command level, they aren't being paid extra for investigative work, or say we had a canine or something like that. This is just basic deputy pay. And we do have a couple, more than a couple that fit that criteria. Always try to pick two so that if somebody ever wants to peel it apart and see, well, where do these numbers come from? It's easy to do.
Mhm.
And keeping in mind that the cost increase is really 3 years. We haven't increased the cost in 3 years. It's definitely a jump.
And
But
the
it's a-
biggest thing I think is because of the union, and now they're tied to your salary, and
It
that's a
is.
huge portion of it.
It is, and historically, they once were tied into my salary, and then they became untied. The reason they became untied was because when I was first elected, electeds were on a salary freeze that lasted some time. And so at that time, there were jailers and dispatchers that are part of the union. They were getting raises, the deputies were not getting raises, so they were stuck for a while. So the union untied. And now they've retied. New union, but retied to me.
I'm kind of surprised about, how many calls we provide to Marengo.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What percentage of that would you say is the hospital?
We can certainly find that out. It's not that many. It's the fact that Marengo isn't 24 hours. I just been dealing with a call just now. They don't have 24-hour coverage here. So what's left?
What are their hours here?
It's very,
Very.
yeah.
Yeah, because we were discussing that earlier in communications about, like, we were surprised when we went to Marengo, and we were wondering if it was, the hospital or what it was.
There are certainly some, but that's not, and it can be a little bit misleading too, in that a call for service in Marengo doesn't mean that there might not be a Marengo officer there. We might be assisting them. So
Yeah.
it's not all our own, but it is quite a few.
I thought of a question when I was coming through, I wrote it down, but what paper I write on, I don't know, but, so when we go to Victor just to sit there and patrol, right? Or North English, even like when we're doing the school hours, is that considered a call, or are these literally just people calling in and we're responding?
This is something that the deputy is doing specifically. So it's a call, it's either a call that was called in or a call, we have officer initiated calls, which, someone's speeding up Main Street, that's also a call. But it's an activity that requires our presence one way or another.
Okay,
or some of these 911 calls. I'm
Yes,
assuming.
yes.
Little man exit, is that for just going down there to, that's a lot of calls for one spot.
Yeah, it is. And
What's that?
Not being there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, well, we have a lot of people trespassing. That's been a big thing.
That's what I wondered.
I saw a TikTok recently of this guy that explored the
Yeah.
Wasserbahn, and I was like, how do you get in there?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get in there.
Yeah.
I drove up the other day just to be snoopy.
Right.
A month ago.
I suppose it's haunted or whatever, and yeah.
And they basically, the station there created some calls for service, the gas station, convenience store, which is kind of half closed right now. They're still selling gas. So I think you're gonna see those calls for service drop off in the coming year, unless something develops out there.
Yeah. Or it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
That's when it burns it down.
It's the only exit that has tracking to it, because there are things there, obviously Williamsburg it's in the city limits, so it's tracked to the city, but we put it on there because there's actually activity at that where, like a Lador and Victor exit don't,
Yeah, there's nothing there.
yeah.
Yeah, the hotel that they remodeled is getting a lot more use now, I think.
It is, yeah.
So me being a numbers person, I took your numbers and I just was curious, like what, percentages are we really looking at? So I think I emailed you the initial earlier this week. And then this morning, the only thing I added in was some of the financials or whatever, but, it's interesting. I mean, if you look, for people that can't read, Millersburg's like less than 1%, Ladora is 1.4, Parnell 1.1, Victor 9.8, North English 8.7, Marengo 6.8, Williamsburg 3, Conway less than 1, I-80 5.14. Basically, all of our rurals, what would that be?
34 calls a day.
So rural only accounts for 67% total.
And we are pretty good about, like, we'll just take the Millersburg, for instance. We know where the line is. And their city limits are very limited. And so they don't get credit, if you want to say, for something that's on the other side of the line, because it's all how 911 designates city limits. So they are accurate.
Yeah, that's where your out of county ones are probably coming, right? When you're going to either of the towns that.
Yeah. The one that I would say that might be the least accurate is Amana, because it doesn't have a city limit. It's kind of a gray area of what is really Amana. So if I was going to say that one might be a little bit off, I don't know what the correct number would be, because we don't have a designated line. This is the Amanas and this isn't.
What would you consider like Amana, Lake Iowa, Middle Amana? That's pretty much all rural.
It's all rural anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's all part of.
And I-80 would be rural.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I added these figures.
I just want everybody to know though.
Oh,
least
yeah.
amount of crime is around Millersburg, Iowa, by the way.
There's nothing to steal.
Good law-abiding citizens down there.
Yeah.
Is Conroy considered rural?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I just kind of did like, I don't know, I just was throwing ideas, I think we're gonna have to cover, I guess, how do I go about this? I was looking at what you wanted to charge, and I just was seeing if it was in line with, like, if you were to charge by call, like, what would that pay?
Right.
And if you did it call-based, we'd be looking at a lot more, 185, 164,000 for these towns.
Right.
So
How would you figure out what a call would cost?
what do you say?
How would you figure out what a call would cost?
So what I did was I took our law enforcement, just the law enforcement budget, not the whole sheriff's budget, and which was 1.8 million. And I did the percentage of calls, and I multiplied whatever that percentage was times the law enforcement
Right.
budget. And so then I did the numbers of the calls per population, like the ratio of the calls versus the population, which I would think you would kind of, if you were to, that was mainly to decipher, do you go on call or versus population down the road,
Right.
And I would think you'd want that about 1, but both of the towns are over 1.
Right. And that's how the old contract that we're still running on.
And that's why I wanted to do that and just kind of see, if you look at, I put in here too, what Marengo's pay, they subsidize their police department by $494,000. Williamsburg's doing $798,000. I mean, it's a heck of a deal.
And the truth of the matter is, and it's a sad state, but it is where we are. Marengo's having a harder time covering. Williamsburg is going to have a little bit of hard time covering as they go forward. And guess who's holding the ball? And that's sad, but it is the way it is. When I started, we had a Victor Police Department, and just not long before that, there was a Millersburg Police Department. And as they've gone away, it lands with us. We can certainly ask the State Patrol for help, but when you're dealing with domestics and thefts and stuff, that's really not a State Patrol thing, If it's more traffic, it's easier to ask them to help out, but, to pull a trooper off the interstate to go take two 12-year-olds punch each other on the playground call, it's kind of tough to legitimize. But the one thing's for sure, when somebody calls, they definitely want someone to come, and they want them to come soon.
So I understand this is your budget and your deal that we just need to approve or disapprove, but, so we have Victor and North English that we provide service so many hours and they pay for it. So how's that work? Then we do Marengo for free.
Well, I'll tell you, the long term of that is they looked into paying us. The problem is they can't afford to pay us. And because our officer hours cost more than theirs do, their pay is lower. So when you look at a small town department, it's all personnel. They don't have a lot of stuff. Law enforcement really isn't a lot of stuff. And so we've always been, for the last few years now, a little hesitant to offer them an hourly price because it ends up being, they'll throw some money at us, right? But it's nothing to hire anyone with. And so what I'd rather them do is work through their problems and get themselves square. Because if they throw, let's say they throw $3,000 at me, what am I supposed to do with that?
But if Rob's job would be bigger,
Yeah.
because he's got more people than he's got more departments, he's got more
But they have
areas.
their own levy rate and he gets, you know, I mean, if he could be paid accordingly through this.
Just so you understand that.
Yeah,
I think, and then it would be like a levy that everyone's paying, like you said, equally throughout the county, no matter where you lived. Whether that would mean a higher tax for some people, lower tax for others, I don't know, but I suppose it could affect it in some way. I don't know how if there's ways to figure that out.
It'd be hard, I would think it'd be hard like on a farm person, because it's not a big city police, but the rest is playing rural.
Right.
well, you're paying to have law enforcement at your house, you know what I mean? That would be the concept of it, like.
Yeah, there's always someone available. That's one of the reasons we always tell the guy to try to hit every gravel road at some point. And you hope that the owner of the house is standing in the yard so they wave at you. Because otherwise, you live out in the county, you'd never maybe see
I'm
it.
just saying that the only way you're gonna raise the levy is based upon your valuations, and the valuations is much heavier in rural than it is in urban.
Yeah, and like I said, this is just a preliminary, I'm just,
Saying to stick to the wall.
yeah, trying to find a solution because that way we're not going through this all the time.
Have you seen any that are not exactly the entire countywide, but that
Yes,
just
there's a lot, yes.
maybe piece out the cities that have police departments and
So-
leave them where they are?
Let me pull up this email. It is so Cass County has it, Humboldt, Ida, Osceola, and Wright are the counties that have it. Some of them are just where, certain cities have drawn district with the county. Some of them are, I don't know if like I said, I haven't read it through all the way, but some of them might be whole counties, and then some of them are county, where North English, for example, where there are 2 different counties, I think you could do one there and have that pay for it.
Yeah, that would be interesting is how that would work especially Victor has more of their territory outside the county line.
Williamsburg, how many theirs did, how many we already know how many we did, would be good, and then,
But we don't know how many we did where we generated the call number and do.
but that's where we have to do some subtraction, let's say there's 1,000 calls total.
So where we started the call isn't gonna be a 911 statistic. Where I see a problem here is the EMS assist calls, because those are gonna go down as EMS calls, but you're still gonna have law enforcement involved. I'll see if I can figure out a way to include just Iowa County response to EMS calls through 911. Because that's definitely gonna be another number right there.
Yeah.
So what's your end game on this? Because, I understand your interest in this, but it's Rob's budget to present to us, or we can tell him how to do it.
I'm just proposing an idea, I'm not telling them how to do anything, am I?
Well, that's just wondering how much information we're gonna develop the plan, or we're just gonna suggest, or.
Well, I'm just
investigating.
investigating, I'm just trying to learn, I'm just trying to find a solution to the problem, I'm not telling anybody on this board or in this
How
room.
much
that this
farther
will
away
work.
are we from coming up with numbers that we're gonna work with?
To present.
Well, I'm just bringing it up today while he's in here, I'm done with that subject, we can go back to the contract, we have to get that done this year,
What's Victor has for questions?
Yeah, Melanie?
I'm just going off of what Eric wanted to know, because the price jump, we're not gonna be able to afford that. So could you propose different hourly rates for us to do it? Like 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours? Cause we're at 40 is what Eric figured out, but we can't afford that, so I don't know. For the contract wise, we're gonna have to figure something else out.
So that's where we come into the problem is that they're covering a 40-hour. If they drop down to 20 hours, does the county have the money to pick up the other 20 hours or do we lay somebody off?
That's what, yeah,
That's what it comes to.
I know. It really does. But the problem is you're still gonna respond to the calls and
Right.
the calls for both towns is a 40-hour drop, more.
And what we had to do last time was we could not take non-emergency calls in Victor for that part of this, that summer. And it was unfortunate, but we just couldn't because we didn't have the help. And so,
So the amount of calls they're getting now are over 20 hours. Is that the figure? It's not
If you
like,
look at,
it's not like, it's not like we can't split somebody with North English because they're both using more than 20 hours.
right, they're both using 40 hours. And that's the problem that I wish I could, that we tried to figure out how much time is involved as well. And it just doesn't track time. It's just an impossible statistic to find with the software that we have. It gives us call numbers, but not time. You know, so obviously some calls take an enormous amount of time. Others take very little. You know, we go do a car lock, it's 5 minutes. But we do a sexual assault, it's hours. So.
Is EMA calls responses, Josh's responses on this, on these numbers, or just the sheriff's stuff?
It would have them, so what you'd see there is like gas leaks, assistance to fires, things like that. Yeah,
Car wrecks on 80.
yeah.
So I'm just curious what the percentage of Josh's calls are to this. I don't know, because it's a different pot, right?
There would be very few calls that he would take that wouldn't involve us first.
Okay.
So he might be more of an assisting agency than he is a primary. Where he would go mostly primary would be, somebody has a carbon monoxide alarm going off, he would go over there and test their air. And we probably wouldn't go to that.
Okay, so
But otherwise, the accidents and the, you know, that kind of stuff, rescue calls, things like that, we'd be at.
okay.
Is,
Melanie, right?
Yes,
Okay, so, Victor can't afford it.
right,
Iowa County can't afford it.
right.
but did they, I mean, so in these 3 years, we've had a percentage of pay raises, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, does, like Victor and North English, do they,
I think this-
understand they have to absorb some of that too? I see what you're saying,
Yes.
you just can't afford it.
Right, right. I mean, we're maxed out for stuff, so it's hard to have negative in so many balances in accounts right now. Like, it's not good. So,
You're dealing with this rollback.
yes.
so are we, yeah,
Yes.
we're
And then
very
we don't do-
sideways.
So I understand where you guys are coming from, and I feel for you guys, I really do.
While the state's sitting on $2 billion in the bank, And then they-
4.6.
do the rollbacks and all these other,
Yeah, so
Thou shalt.
everybody is going to get affected by this. It's not just Victor, you guys, it's everybody.
right?
So I think what Eric wanted to know is, can it be fair for every town? Like, we understand like the little ones can't have the 160,000 contract, but could they get charged hourly too? Like, so that you get more income that way and help the other towns out?
So those contracts are as needed only, so they don't get patrol. So there are no hours set for it. But I definitely understand what you're talking about. If it could offset what
Yeah.
you're paying, I get that. It's just, it's not broken into hours in those contracts.
You guys have more,
Patrol cars, patrol cars that we buy, cause I'm like, how are we paying that?
It's
It's not that, but it's really not for like the kind of vehicle that you're getting if you went and got one at, you know.
Well, you're getting a price concession.
Yeah.
So it's actually cheaper, but it's, the concessions, I think, have gotten smaller.
Mhm,
And the equipment going in is just gone crazy.
mhm.
And the problem is, we need, when I first started, we had a radio and a flashlight that didn't work, and a shotgun and a vinyl case, and that was pretty much it. Now, we need, are expected to have a camera system that covers the car, the person, the audio that goes with it, the back seat, the front seat. Those things are insane, and it's like managing a television network. Doug Mendenicon handles those requests. Every single arrest, and then some, are requesting all video, right up to the time they're put into a jail cell.
you're paying software,
It's
storage.
insane, and it's getting to the point where it's one guy's job. And it costs thousands of dollars per car. And when I started, if it wasn't in the report, it didn't happen. Well, now if it isn't on video, it didn't happen. And it's just the way the court system is gravitated towards that, and it costs a lot of money to maintain that stuff, and it's, I don't know, it's only getting worse, but we're spending more on video systems than we did the car, you know, when I started.
Yeah, back in 95, we bought 2 patrol cars for 24,000.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I can tell you,
Where did you find that at?
I had Kristen send it to me.
that's 2 cars.
I know, 3 patrol, well, no, that was maintenance.
Yeah.
28,000 in 02 for 2.
And I believe the manufacturers are looking at a 20 to 25% increase this next model year. Which, you know, that's a lot when you consider what the base number is.
Right.
So I guess, do we leave this be until we talk to the city councils and see what funds we can actually come up with? And
But I think I heard you say for 1 year, you can still continue where you're at.
that's still better than going down to 20 hours, laying off an employee and,
I mean, if we need to know that for budget wise, and we do a one.
What day they fall on, but.
Well, the 7th of February is a Wednesday. And I think it is Wednesday, isn't it?
I thought it was Mondays. I used to,
Millersburg's are.
It's a Wednesday, the 7th of February is a Wednesday.
we have a new website, let me look, thanks to Laura.
City information.
You know what, I can look at the past ones.
First Wednesday of each month at 6:30, so theirs would be, yeah, 7,
What time was it?
6:30.
6:30. Not on that part.
I'll put that in my calendar too.
You want me to come as well? I'd be,
If you'd like to, yeah.
I'll try to, yeah.
Only 2 of us remember that.
Yeah, were you gonna go to one, Chris?
No, I'll try to hit, I'll try to go to Millersburg and Parnell and Medora.
I was gonna offer to go to Victor too, but if you want to go, Sean.
Will one of you want to come to North English or want to come to Victor?
Doesn't matter, you wanna do North English, Sean?
Chris is.
He's doing Lenore and Millersburg. Pardon.
Parnell, I'll try to get those 3, relay this information to them. 'Cause I know what their answers are gonna be. At least Millersburg is, you're not getting anything from us.
Yeah, I could potentially go to North English.
We're not even gonna fund our fire department.
Depending on the date.
Or 7th at 6:30.
At North English?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can plan, we got that meeting with that flag on the 7th too.
Oh, yeah. I need
So
to-
why doesn't Millersburg unincorporate?
I think it
7 to
becomes very
6:30, I mean.
Yeah.
But that's the thing,
That's
I
what-
looked at it into the code and it is actually very difficult. And
Lenore
then-
looked at it, Lenore's talked about it.
And Ledora's issue is who takes over their waste, like the septic.
That's what I was, well, Millersburg has to.
I know,
Hardell has one too, they all have one.
yeah.
They don't, the state gave out that money for all them things, so. I don't know. And we're back on we're on for city streets then. If they become unincorporated, that falls on us. We really don't want them to
I
come.
think there's something also about, there has to be certain standards met
Yeah,
before you can do.
you can't show any profit for, I can't remember how many years, but it's something like that.
Chris, if you get some times on those and want somebody to go on, let me know.
Okay.
If Alan wants to jump in on one. of
Yeah.
those.
Right, I'll let you know.
I'd be, maybe, I don't know if I wanna go all of them, but.
Maybe just throw.
I can make a one pager though, that for whoever goes to those ones about what the history of how many calls we've done and the cost that it's cost the rural
It'd be nice if you
taxpayers.
presented the same thing at every meeting.
Yeah. I'll make a one pager or whatever.
Fire something up and give it to us.
Okay. Anything else for Rob?
Thank you, sir.
I'll try to get that additional.
Melanie, do you
Yeah,
have any
thank
more
you.
questions?
No, that was it, thank you.
All right, well, you guys have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for listening to my crazy ideas.
No.
Abby, can you email me what you have?
Take care.
See you, Rob.
Here's my email, if you wanna start.
Perfect.
I'll get those to me, and then I'll figure out the council what's on that.
6:30.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Want to move on up?
Ready?
You're next.
Uh-oh. At least it's not raining out. And it was even sunny in Iowa City. So, yeah.
We're gonna take a small break for a second.
Sure, that's fine.
I guess.
You shut it down, Chris, for the.
Oh, I didn't shut it down. Yeah, we'll hear in about 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, back on.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Well, sure, glad to.
What do you got for us? What's the update?
He's got a lot of papers.
Yeah, no, I brought a selection of stuff along, but I think they're getting really close. They've got some adjustments. A couple of the windows, as you know, aren't operating correctly. And they've got the factory guy coming soon. Hasn't given us a date yet, but they're gonna have the factory guy come and adjust some of them because apparently the adjustments that we talked about that Cedar Rapids Glass could do didn't fix the problem. So they're having the factory guy come to, I don't know if he's gonna have to replace it or whatever, but they're coming to take care of that. There was 3 or 4 windows I think they couldn't get squared away. So they're waiting on some glass still on the front entry. They've got a little bit of door hardware left to do. They've got a little bit of ceiling work left to do. We have asked them for a price for replacement blinds in the large
The judge's room.
judges, yeah. And they're supposed to be out next week to measure those to get us a price. We asked for a price for mini blinds and for roller shades. So the roller shades, we've kind of given up on mini blinds. They're less expensive, but they don't seem to survive as well. So we're gonna get a price for both mini blinds and roller shades. Roller shades do a better job, but
When they come, can you make sure that's coordinated with Dylan,
sure.
please? And,
So, but this was not part of the project, there wasn't?
No. So, we had the blinds that were up there, when they took them down, they fell apart. So, but we still got some money in the contingency allowance for the project. So I think I would just recommend going ahead, whichever style you like, go ahead and do it that way. We can get it done. But,
Is that ceiling problem that Sherry was talking about? Is that something he'd want to look at, or?
I think he was there, Mark was with us the last time we looked at that as well, and the export room, the
Passport.
Passport room, yeah.
with that pipe, there's some contingency and there's a mess there and it needs fixed and cleaned up. So
Yeah.
perhaps you'd like to walk over with us.
Sure, yeah.
We have a very upset employee.
Uh-oh. Yeah. We can have a look at it.
Okay. We need to get a resolution put together, and I'll call Dylan too and see if he can't meet us over there at the same time.
So when he's done, we could take a quick break and you guys could run over there and do that.
We could, because we got a lot of work to do yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you want, I can run over and have a look and stop back over here and let you know what I see.
I think it'd be better if they,
Yeah, we better go with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure it's over at lunch hour.
But I think overall, I think it looks really good. I think it works really well. They've got some adjustments. They've got some air leaks that they've got to track down. One of the windows, it looks like the air is coming from the other side, like it's coming through the wall. I don't know. So they're going to try to do some more insulating on those couple that are leaking from a different spot. I don't know.
so all the offices that had their issues are being dealt with?
Yes.
Well,
So
they've not been resolved.
they have not all, some of them have been fixed, some of them have not.
Okay.
So, but it is on the punch list.
We're
So,
communicating with them though, to let them
Yes.
know this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
so it's getting closer. So.
So we want to take a break so that the building department,
That's
can run
fine.
over there?
I think it's the best thing to do.
Do you guys have any more questions for Mark?
Yeah, Mark's come all a long time, long way over what, I mean, yeah, we've rounded third, we're heading for home,
We're almost at home. We're real close, ready to slide. So.
okay?
I was hoping just to stand up, you know, I don't want to
And that shouldn't take but 5-10 minutes.
I'll get Woody over here and I'll call him right now, see if he can meet us. And I'd say it's gonna take 5 minutes to walk over, 10 minutes to look at it, 3 minutes to run out the door. Can you meet us at courthouse real quick? Yeah. You are? Okay. Well, Okay, that's fine, then. We're gonna go up at the passport office and take a look at something. All right. Okay, bye. We'll just go with that.
So we are at recess now.
Recessing.
Let's go down the list of other, wait, we got done with communications, I believe.
Yes,
Table, liquor licenses,
no.
appropriations of administrative. Consideration approval of REIC 2080 agreement resolution 2024-1-26.
So moved. And it's, you read the email that I sent from Tim.
Yeah,
What's the difference in that one and the other one, just to ask Ellen?
The email you sent from what, Tim?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
I had forwarded the resolution to him to take a look at to make sure that,
So I was confused because in the letter it says that, he said that Ellen already presented it to
We had sent it over to him. I thought.
we had it in REIC.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Another Tim or Lou wanted to.
did they have a change on it?
Well, they said it's an updated resolution from the old one.
so we've had a motion. Is there do we have a second?
Second.
I can second
I'll
it.
second, I can second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved.
And I'm sorry, there's 10 of them there. She needs 10 originals.
What? Oh, shit.
Yeah,
This is gonna be like,
Yeah.
we'll wait on that for a minute. Treasurer semi-annual report for period July 1st to December 31st, 2023.
And that's just turn on.
Oh, okay, didn't care to approve it. Items for consideration for next week's agenda. Tentatively, how many people can meet on Wednesday at 1 o'clock?
I think so.
I can.
I think I know Abby and I have a meeting at 3:30 on Wednesday. So that would probably work.
You have to go somewhere?
No, it's here.
I need to put it on my calendar. That is next Wednesday really?
No, I'm sorry, you're talking Wednesday the 31st.
Okay,
Oh, that's different then. No, I should be available.
The union, the union guy wants to come in.
At 1 o'clock,
With that on the agenda.
1 p.m.?
Yeah. Everybody's okay with that?
Union guy from where?
Representing the,
Secondary roads.
to get his official proposal now that we're going by.
I said BS.
Yeah, ours is the next Wednesday, Abby. I didn't realize the 31st was Wednesday.
Yeah, I just probably put that in my calendar so I don't forget.
Do you mind if I put that request to hire now for Wednesday too?
That's fine. Cause they will plug that with this stuff for Friday already and got it. That seems like it.
Jenny Olson, with the biannual update and approval for out-of-state travel, and then Iowa County Community Development update. And then consolidated discussion, budget workshop. And then I have the request to hire from Luca.
What was the last one, Brandy? Request?
Transportation's request. to
Okay.
hire. With that to Wednesday.
Do we also have anything as of right now they want to talk about on Wednesday or Friday?
No.
Just thought I'd ask now. Okay, so let's go back to budget discussion. Brandy's been working on some numbers, juggling some stuff around. It's just not quite where, I'd say this. Everything hasn't been moved yet.
Correct. Before I move anything, our general fund is at 9.44%.
That's for the finish of this year.
And that's No, 16.19 should be the ending fund for this current year. And as I said earlier, I figured out why we were at 26% ending fund, or why we were showing a projected 26% ending fund for the general. There was 1.3 million that needed to be re-estimated. We had expected to receive that bond money in this current fiscal year, but it came last fiscal year, so that needed to be updated, so re-estimated, so that lowered our general ending fund balance. And that's why it's now the 9.3 or 9.44%.
Proposed budget.
Correct.
So what was this bond, this,
The bond for the jail kitchen and the engineer's office, that $1.3 million bond that we did.
okay,
The funds came in on the 28th of June, and we weren't budgeting or expecting them to come in until this current year, so.
This
until
fiscal year.
2024, Yeah.
okay. So did we carry that over to the next year then?
No, we had to re-estimate it. So basically, that 1.3 million was showing in our ending fund. So I had to re-estimate to take that out
Okay,
because we're not really receiving it this fiscal year. We've
gotcha,
already received it.
okay.
So then would it have been like an addition to the fund from last year, the previous year? Or wouldn't that really matter? I mean, so that would make the ending fund.
So the
for
way it
previous year.
looked, we received I think it was like 1.28 million. But we had budgeted 1.3 because that was what we were calculating at the time we did the budget. So when that came in, so that's showing as revenue for 23 fiscal year instead of 24. So basically the budget was showing that we should be getting another 1.3 million this year. So by taking that out, it's gonna decrease that ending fund balance. Anything that they're doing currently, or for next year's, for the 25 budget,
Would need board approval.
the health board, yes.
Your board.
Yeah.
I keep pointing, you.
Yeah.
And I support it. But like for Brandy to go and re-estimate, maybe we should send out a department head feeler too and say, I can send that out and say, hey, this is where we're at. Please identify the areas in your budget that you know you're not gonna exceed
So you,
or come,
Again.
those places that can be.
again, pointing at you. So that board, you don't want to have to go talk to them and go, this is what I'm thinking, can we do this?
No, because it's not, we're not decreasing the budget at all. We're re-estimating what we're gonna use.
For the current fiscal year.
Yeah,
To get our revenue back.
to
up.
show, because what it's basically what it's doing, we're putting in $300,000, a magic number in for the budget. And so when this calculation, when that ending fund balance worksheet, how it works is it's saying, they're gonna use $300,000. Well, we might only use 100. And we need to figure out how much of it we're actually gonna use, so that way we can figure out what a true ending fund balance is for this year to affect into next year.
To get that 9.44 up.
Right.
So do you guys want me to send a department head email to everybody and ask them to identify the areas that they're not gonna utilize to the full extent? And maybe put a cap on it if it's $1,000 or more, or $5,000 or more?
We probably need to protect it because in the past, I know, boy, we got this left over in our budget, we better get it spent. And that's not needed.
I don't think that happens as much as you think.
You don't think so?
I know conservation, we've never thought that way.
It may have been way in the past.
Certain departments.
I've seen it.
I'm gonna say Brandy's nodding her head, so, either or, we don't wanna spend it down if we don't have to.
And I mean, do I preface in the email that, like, we have to cut somewhere, it's raises, it's benefits, it's something, that, please be a team player and identify these areas in your budget, so that way we can see what we really have to do.
You wanna
I'm trying to,
wordsmith it and then
I was trying to say to
send it to us before you send it out?
I can just send it on behalf of myself too.
I'm just trying to figure out how to say it. So we're trying to do this to.
To avoid having to cut salary and benefits, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay. So I'll get that in there.
Yeah.
was trying to look for fancy words, I didn't have any of them. Fancy word. Okay,
And on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, in an effort to avoid cutting salaries and benefits, we're asking,
do you have any,
Or even revenues, if there are revenue line items where they
Yeah, that's a good point
expect
too.
that they're going to receive
More,
much more than they benefited, or than they budgeted for.
any projects that they're not gonna do this year, or can come off this year?
Do you want me to put in a number, like, because obviously if someone has, I mean, I get $200 here and there adds up, but that's a lot of work for you to go and re-estimate little things. Do we want to put like anything over 1,000?
1,000.
I'll even just type it up right now.
And it could be, I mean, it could be Rob might not get cars this year.
Mhm.
well, look at his data processing charges.
I mean, here's an example in mine, in my revenues, we've received $7,952 in beer permit. But I only budgeted 1,000, so there's 3,900 that I can re-estimate.
Right.
Because if you don't re-estimate the revenue, it doesn't show in there either, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
so like on that first page of the revenue, when you go down there where it's highlighted the 65,000, would that be kind of a wash? Because like, right above it, kind of the same type of category, there was 0 budgeted and they brought in 68,000.
But last year in that line, we didn't see anything, we didn't get any funds. That department didn't get any funds.
Right.
We have 65 budgeted this year and 65 budgeted for next year. But are we really gonna see those funds?
Right, but then above it, where it's 0, we brought in 68,000.
To the right, actual 68,557.
Yeah, so, I mean, we could write that down as 0, but then now we're gonna have to do this 68,000.
That was the year before. That was actual last year. So 23, FY 23.
Okay, so it wasn't budgeted for the year they're budgeting here, but that was last, okay. So it doesn't show what was budgeted the year that 68,000 was brought in. Does it?
And again, I have to have the key fobs, the door fobs, whatever.
If we don't with the security, does that affect our ICAP renewal or whatever?
Don't know.
Or the legality of your election stuff?
How much is your key fobs?
I think he budgeted 12,000.
And do we put in there eliminate office equipment and furniture?
And we're just talking to close out this year, correct?
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. Department heads, I know many of you are aware that we're in an extremely challenging budget year. In an effort to not cut raises and benefits, we are requesting the following. Number 1, please identify any expense in your current fiscal year budget that you don't anticipate spending the full budgeted amount. Please only do this for anything greater than a $1,000 difference between the budget and actual. Then, we will need each line item and the anticipated actual expense for it, right? Yeah, because we need to know what to take it down to.
They won't be confused that we're thinking of next year's budget, will they?
She said at the beginning,
I'll bold it and italicize it and write it.
and then you're gonna speak on.
The revenue. So number 2 would be, please identify any revenue in your bold and italicized current
That's higher than we estimated.
that, that is higher or lower.
Yeah, you better put the lower end too.
Or, okay, so please identify any revenue in your current fiscal year budget, that is higher or lower than the budgeted amount. Please also do this for anything with a $1,000 difference. We will also need each line item and the anticipated number. Does that make sense? I think it does. The reason for this ask is for us to re-estimate this fiscal year to get a more accurate number of our ending fund balance. This will help us know or adjust next year's ending fund balance. Does that make sense? Does that sound good?
I think so.
If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.
I think I can shave 40, I can say 45,000, that's like. That would help.
Every bit helps.
Yeah, 2 lines, that's all I have to write it down, right there like that.
Do you want me to send this budget detail listing to each department?
Would you email me that? I'm gonna have to keep it, respond to this email.
Probably working harder.
Do I have to take it to the board, don't I?
Everybody's gotta be in it. It's-
No, just because you're not changing the thing, you're just saying, and it's not changing the budget technically.
That's what I'm just planning on not spending.
Yeah,
Yes.
So we have a little carryover to help
Yes.
offset.
And that's pretty bare minimum. Because you know, that 40, that's a $90,000 line, that's where our park maintenance comes out of. I know I'm gonna put windows in the one house, that was 14,000, so that leaves us another 20-something more plumbing issues, so we should be fine.
Well, we could always sell Big Ben, right?
There you go.
No.
So I'm still kind of confused on the $1.3 million, but, so if we got that revenue in the previous fiscal year, was the expense then on the current fiscal year?
Because we're currently using that money.
So then we paid that with the money from the previous fiscal year, right? So wouldn't that expense come off of the current fiscal year then if we paid it the
We
previous?
had to include that in our, one of our first budget amendments. I think it was the very first one that we did.
But I see what John's saying, that it's paid, the expense,
Was
like,
paid the
where we
previous-
carrying the expense over, it was paid last year. Isn't that what you're trying to
No,
say?
we got it last year. We received the funds last year, but we're paying it this year.
Okay.
So the carryover, okay, now that resonates. We got the money, we carried it over and paid it. It has to be paid this year.
So with the previous, where the money came in, would their revenue be your fund that was left be a higher percentage than what they had planned the previous year. Okay, so you had a projected revenue in 2022 with the.
We didn't though. That was the thing, right? We didn't have the
Right.
1.3
We
in.
were banking on not getting that money till FY '24.
So when that revenue comes in, wouldn't that raise your year-end fund percentage for 2022?
It changed, it did the actual, but not the budget. So like,
So then I'm thinking, so you'd start the next year with a higher percentage end fund balance, which would assist your end fund balance for that.
Our actual ending fund balance in '01 was 5.6 million.
Which is how much percentage?
This one doesn't give me a percentage.
Well, it's a $26 million budget, so that'd be.
but it's by fund though.
Yes, this is just by fund.
Oh, okay.
All of the ending fund balance is by fund, not as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of funds,
'Cause it's
there's a lot of
general
funds
fund.
that we don't do a 25% carryover because
Right.
it's not a thing. But I think what she's trying to say is like, okay, so 2022, surprise, we got some money, budget amendment to show that we got it. Then the next year, because then we had to do the budget amendment the next year to show that we got it, right?
No, because that year was done. Because we got it
Yeah, okay,
2 days to spare for the end of the year.
yeah. So then we have it shown in here that this year that we're getting it, but we're not, we already got it.
Mhm.
So it was included in our ending fund at the beginning of this year.
Which made it, whatever fund that was in would have made that percentage higher than what we projected.
But we're currently sitting at 16.19%. Abby, do you want me to send you those reports? Do you want me to, this budget detail?
The paper copy that I have?
Yeah.
I-
Because have you sent that email yet?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll just email this to everyone.
And that,
If you hit reply all, it should hit it to everybody if you want,
what was that bond for, that 1.3 million, did you say,
the kitchen.
kitchen?
Do you want me to send one report, like what we have, that has everyone, or do you want me to send individual department?
That sounds like a lot of work to do every department, just send the full one.
Yeah. Be nice, but yeah, it'd be too much work.
You should have to do the work for all the departments all the time.
Get the TV remote,
What?
get the TV remote.
Yeah, it's driving you nuts.
Yeah.
You're tired of seeing the
While I
ducks?
see it, and I don't know if it's a reflection on my screen or. Sorry, I don't
So-
have better news.
Did you tell them a certain time to have this done?
No. I did not.
Maybe
I assume everybody knows we're in a hurry, but I could reply all again. and-
just let them know the board will be
We're gonna be
meeting
meeting
on,
Wednesday again,
board will be meeting on Wednesday.
Brandy's gotta do work to get this done.
yeah, so we can need it by Tuesday. Monday afternoon.
Monday afternoon, probably.
It'd be so much easier to have our fiscal year and our taxes line up.
What'd you say?
It'd be so much easier to have our taxes line up. So we don't have to have an ending fund balance, we just have the year.
And if they send them to me, might I send them to you? Okay. I wish, or do you want me to, if they send to me, maybe I just make a file, like a bunch of emails, that's fine. Okay, I'll flag them and I won't forget. Okay, well,
We know we know what we need to be doing over the weekend.
Like I said, I'm happy to go for my, this year's just to see what there's in there that.
I'll go through everybody's too and just kind of take a look. Could you send me the latest budget expense worksheet with everything that we have in there, Brandy?
Any other questions about this?
No, I kind of see talking to the department heads, because we might look at an expense that maybe they're not gonna make their payment on until,
Yeah, I know,
so.
but I think it's always good to lay another set of eyes on it too, you know?
But if they're getting something in June, can you wait till July to pay it?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to throw this option out there, but is it the point where we have to extend our ambulances out by one more year and we don't buy that this year?
It's gonna catch us sometime,
I
somewhere.
know, but I'm just saying.
Well,
I mean, we're gonna have to cut somewhere if we can't get this fixed. And salaries aren't gonna work. I don't wanna cut benefits because like Brandy said, that's one of our biggest attractions to the county. And so we're gonna have to cut, we might have to cut things like home health or say, public health department, you're getting this amount of money and, you know, if you can still make home health work with this, then do it.
right. I know, like I said, I was a voice we heard yesterday from other counties where they're making them hard decisions and if we have to let people
The ambulance is the more feasible than the other one due to you only meet every 2 months.
Well, we can decide as a board, you're getting 200,000 instead of $1 million.
I'll make them cut it.
Or you need to reduce your budget by this amount, you make the decision how you're gonna do it.
Yeah, or like, do we just do a unified cut across the board? Each department only gets, you know, we lop off 15% off of every department and you say, you know, if you can still afford your raises within that, you know, have at it, but you probably need to choose between having your computers or your raises or whatever.
I understand you being fair, but smaller budgets are not much in there.
Right.
You get 15%.
But that percentage is, that makes it more fair, so it's, you know what I mean? It's not like
I'm
a
just saying,
dollar.
like, say the veterans affairs, they don't have anything but salary, basically.
I think there's more in there.
Well, I mean, I'm just example, but it's hard to cut 15% out of
Travel.
travel.
You know, maybe travel.
Right.
Do you wanna make
Or would I
travel
more
for
than
the
a
year?
year?
Yeah,
Why would we even cut it 50%?
but it helps.
there's a lot of veterans affairs pass-through money.
No,
Usually your trips and stuff are all paid for. We don't pay for those. The out-of-state ones.
Does
But-
ambulance not go to football games? You know, I mean,
We're
we're,
a service that we have to provide though, I think.
Yes,
I think that's a mandatory.
you know, I don't know, I'm just throwing out something, you know, stick to the law. I don't,